We're all set to go for qualifying for the FIA Formula 2 Championships third round of the season here in Saudi Arabia. This fantastic circuit now hosting its fifth iteration of the championship. And we've had some moments around here before as well. It's a 6.174 kilometre circuit, a total of 20 laps ahead of us come race day, and it is action-packed. No one ever has an idea what we're going to see for qualifying. Red flags galore, crashes galore, incidents. It is one of those places we just always try and see who's hot and who's not. Alongside me in the commentary box for this session is Omi with JT and Jess down in the pit lane. Omi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you. We're all set to go then, and fingers crossed this one's going to be a bit of a classic, I hope, tonight.
Yeah, let's hope this is interesting. From the evidence of practice, it was close. It was close on the timing page, and now it's qualifying. This is where we hope that it translates to. This is the moment where it counts, and this is the moment for our pole sitter, where 2 points are on offer for pole position.
Green light, and away we go for the 30-minute session. And the drivers will venture out, as always. First one to set the top time wins. Followed only on 26 points, Dune and Browning on 25, Marty 23 for sure on 21. The top five only separated by so few points after the opening 2 weekends. That is great news for a championship. Where last year, it was practically a domination across the field. They got such an early run away, and they only really caught up the second half of the season between Bortoletto and Hadjar.
Yeah, it's really close between our contenders, helped of course by the fact that in round one we didn't get our feature race, so you've only had 2 sprint races to play with, and the Bahrain feature race, which if you are synced up with us, the winner of it was Alex Dunn, who now finds himself second in the championship. As you mentioned, a big moment in race 200 for Irish Motorsport, and it was great to see him getting that moment for the first time on the F1 weekend, as you mentioned, as all of the cars make their way out onto the circuit.
Right, let's check in with JT and Jess. JT, good afternoon to you. We're just on the F1 session. Who do you think is going well in Formula 2 as you were our producer last weekend?
Hello.
Hello. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, it was an interesting weekend yesterday. Good weekend around Bahrain yesterday. Not yesterday, last week, my God. Oliver Gerfer around the track now, turn 13.
Jess with us. Hello, Jess, down in the pits. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I was watching a bit of F2 last week, and I'm keeping my eye on Forneroni this week because he seemed to be sailing into F2 very well. Obviously, Joshua Dirksen was quite unlucky last week due to his issues. I'm keeping my eye on OC Beganovic. Would have been good if he didn't, if the safety car didn't screw him over in the sprint race. And also Luke Browning looking good as well. But let's hear from some of our drivers.
Definitely brings confidence to have a good result. Right now, I need a good qualifying to bring my confidence there. I've always been quick in the races, and yeah, the qualifying in the past 2 rounds is what's let me down. Melbourne was a bit more out of my control, but yeah, still we need to improve on qualifyings, and then I'm confident I have what it takes to fight for podiums and wins. I just need to qualify further up.
Qualifying is a key factor here, Omi. We've seen it many a year for the F2s, and track temperature has now decreased into 41.1 compared to earlier on when it was in the high 50s. We're out there on the ultra soft tyre as well, so they're going to get a good running in, they're going to get a good feeling. Are you expecting a similar time to what we saw in practice, where the top 5 were separated by less than 1,000, well, what was it, less than a tenth of a second? We saw at most 66 thousandths.
yeah, with how close the field has been across the season, I think that definitely could be the case, and I wouldn't be surprised if it does come down to those thousandths of a second, which decides our grid positions for both races this weekend. Of course, we reverse the top 10 when it comes to our sprint race, and they start how they qualify for the feature race on Grand Prix Sunday as well. As we take a look at Pepe Marti, still one of the great performances. Well, 1 year ago, when we 1 year ago at Bahrain, he went all the way from 11th to the podium in both races, and then in the sprint race 1 week ago, he was able to move all the way up through to take the win. So superb stuff from him, and he's definitely enjoying the support that he's getting from Red Bull at this stage, and he will be looking to continue that on for the entire season.
Just having a look, if I put the Comcam background on, it turns into one massive commentary box. Look at that. To come into it, but yeah, so there's a differential that we have to sort of keep our eyes on there. On board with Joshua Durskin. Browning's on a 45-2 first sector. Come on, how many build-up laps and push laps do we need? The tyre temperature should be up to speed after 1 lap. It's 27-turn circuit. It's the second longest on the calendar after Spa-Francorchamps. We should be able to go within a lap, but that long lap is actually going to be costly because it's going to cost them, I think somebody told me earlier, it's going to cost them 3 laps over the course of this qualifying session compared to normal, same as it does in Spa, because of how long the cool laps are. Like we just clocked at 2:06 over 2:17. So that costs you time compared to a normal circuit. It's like 1 minute 45, closer to 150s.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that they need to deal with around this circuit, and then also keep in mind the red flags and all of the trouble that comes with that. And Formula 2 has been used to that ever since we started going racing here in 2021. There's always been drama, there's always been action-packed and amazing racing, and Gabriele Mini part of some of that amazing racing as well 1 week ago around the Sakir International Circuit. Now here at Jeddah as he goes attacking in his Alpine livery machine, part of Prema, as he goes to the first sector and turn number 13.
Yep, turn 13 will be closing in once more as we close back 206.112 for Montoya. But he's just done a 38.5 first sector, matching Mini as well. 38.8 for Marty, 38.7s for Lindblad and Browning coming through. First real time now from Crawford on a 205, 262. But that's still with a 46.6, 39.7, miles off the pace. This is going to be it from Gabriel Mini, Victor Martin, Sebastian Montoya, all setting lap times now as they come through. This is going to be the push point with 23 minutes to go.
Absolutely. Well, we had 2 main runs when it came to 1 week ago. Here at Jeddah, though, bit more of a longer circuit, a bit more of a challenge for these 22 young drivers. The unfinished articles all making their way through around this venue. Gabriele Mini has rounded the 27th and final corner of this circuit, bringing it up to the gears. DRS will be open, and let's see what he does across the line.
Montoya's a 1:44.982. His teammate Gabriel Mini fastest in the third sector with a 1:45.098. Browning goes third. Coming through, that's only Goetze's time. I'm sorry, he's gone into second position. I'm put spinning down. 10th of a second difference. Boganovic in fourth. We're on board with Pepe Marti. Jose Marti over the line now. What can he do in the Campos? 42, 43, 44, 45. It's a 1 minute 45.567. Lindblad goes third fastest as well now on my timesheets as they'll come down. So Montoya, Goethe, Lindblad, Stanek now goes second. So Montoya, Stanek, Goethe, Crawford's 44,000 off. Martins, who was top this morning, in practice, he's got the fastest first sector. Only a personal best middle sector though, and that's so far Alexander Dune, 33.0 middle sector, fastest of all.
Yeah, Dirksen going into 4th position. That's a bit more like it for Lindblad as he tries to make it click. Along with his Campos team. Crawford was in the ballpark when he left the second sector. Has he been able to keep it through turn number 27? With the DRS opening, we'll have to keep an eye for Martins further back. Here's Crawford to the line.
Third fastest. He's 44,000 back at the moment. 1:45.026. Martins to the top by a stunning 0.4 of a second. 1:44. 144.559. Dune spots it into second position. Montoya third. Stanek fourth. Crawford fifth. Goethe in 6th position. Durskin, Lindblad as well. Cordial and Verschoor round out your top 10 after the first runs then. Victor Martins 3/10 faster than Alexander Dune, and that is the sort of standpoint you go for early on. That's run 1 done. They'll come back into the pit lane. Run 2 coming up with around about 15 to go.
Impressive stuff from Victor Martins to be that much clearer of the field. If we consider the margin between all of the other drivers, that is a great lap time thrown down by the French driver, now part of the Williams Academy as well, and he is just ahead of Alex Dun, who's going to be loving life, and it's very clear that he's got a confidence boost all the way from his feature race win, and now he's already performing in 2nd place. Great to see Montoya up there as well as he gets going with Prema. So loads of drivers being able to turn around their weekend from their first 2 rounds of the season as Montoya goes pushing again down towards the first corner.
So they're fueled for doubles for some of them. Montoya coming through into the first corner for Prema in that new livery. That isn't a Prema livery of the red and white we're used to. It's more the traditional colours as well, with the blue, the orange and the white as well. See a few of it on the Colombian side as, comes into it as well. The young Colombian, I remember when his father was racing. I'm getting old. Here's John Bennett.
One of the belts is hitting my arm. Every time I turn left, I think it's the cable for the laptop.
Oh.
So they've left a USB cable in there, Romy. Wow, my goodness me. Oh,
Not what you want. Not what you want, considering we have 27 turns around this circuit, the most of any circuit on the calendar when it comes to turns.
So, correct if I'm wrong, but that means that the left-handed circuit...
JB.
Yeah, it's a lot more. JT.
And tonight, John Bennett's mechanics forgets to take a cable out of the car. USB.
Montoya was fastest, but he's locked up an entry. How did he not hit the barrier? Coming through turn 23 and 4. Still got that middle sector, but that would have cost him about a fraction of a second. He kept it on the racing line at least. Now he's got the DRS open. Second sector already changed. 33-0 for Browning now.
I'm surprised he kept it on the tarmac pretty much. Sebastian Montoya with the speed, with the locking up of those tyres. Goethe's going quickly as well, nearly 1.5 tenths quicker than Victor Martins. Let's see what Seb Montoya can do as he comes across the line. The driver currently in third will look to try and prove that.
No, stays where he is. Gabriel Mini. Next over the line. Goes 6th faster. Ollie Goethe. Next up, and then... he's not going to do anything. Browning to 2nd. By 42 thousandths behind Martins. That's a much better lap time now. 1:44.559. Boganovic, P5. Here comes Ollie Goethe over the line. 2nd by 7 thousandths of a second. It's 007 again. And 71 thousandths quicker. It's Richard Verschoor who goes fastest as Joshua Durskin lunges over turn 23 and 24. Martins fast in the first sector, and Arvid Lindblad now top. Stalag goes third. Lindblad's 1:44.250. Time's coming through on the second run. They've been fueled longer. They know that strategy, Omi, of the fact that we lose 3 laps here in qualifying.
Got the lost time out of turn number 27. That's right up to the wall for Joshua Dirksen as he comes across the line in a couple of moments' time. But a brilliant lap thrown down by Lindblad. Can Dirksen go quicker? Can Martins go quicker? We have Dirksen into 8th. Let's see what Victor Martins can do. Has lost time in the middle part of the lap.
Yeah, he's down as well, P5. What's his time? 33.1. 32.9 was Lindblad's fastest time. It's not going to be that good, but we know this ART is quicker in a straight line. 73 thousandths off again. It's a 1:44.323. Alexander Dune goes third fastest with a 1:44.404. Next over the line as well. Arita Mayata goes into 20th place. And up into 11th goes Kushmaini. 1:44.805.
It's all still going to change, but Kushmedi in that dreaded 11th, and that's exactly what he was looking for, to try be higher up there, considering his moment that he had in practice and he couldn't be on the circuit. This was Joshua Dirksen as he made his way through turn number 22, all over the exit curve and being sent slightly into the air.
Everybody bar Montoya improved on their last run time as well, and I think as well just a slight moment, and he did touch the wall at the exit last corner.
Yep, absolutely. He was pushing hard when the car was getting away at the 22nd turn, he knew that he had to go all in to try and find the improvement, and that was right up to the wall. Let's take a look at Montoya. This was the lockup that we were talking about, and it was great that he was still able to keep that one going, but it meant that he could not improve on that lap time, as we do now finally get to the point where we can take a breather with Lindblad at the top. And yes, great to see Arvid Lindblad being able to fight back and having his first moment of shining really in Formula 2 after not really coming under anyone's radar when it came to our first two opening rounds.
So Lindblad's on top from Victor Martins in second. Now into the pit lanes comes for Shaw and Goethe. So they've dived in. That's what the little red numbers mean alongside. Stanak's just come into the pit lane now as well. So that's and you can see on your monitors if you're watching along with us on TV, pics of watch along on JBMotorsports and YouTube and Twitch. If you're listening to us on the radio, you know we'll tell you for sure Stanak and Goethe have come into the pit lane from 4th, 5th and 7th positions respectively. Arvid Lindblad now going for a third push lap. On these tyres though, I don't think they've got enough left in them.
Yep, absolutely. Well, it will be interesting to see for later on in the session if he is able to get 3 laps in, then that will be good data for everyone else of how much you can go pushing around this 27 turn racetrack. He's navigating his way to the first sector of it right now. The first sector will give us an indication, but it's all about whether he can keep the tires going when it comes to the second and third sector later on in the lap. Many times we have seen it fall away for the drivers. Right now looking good for Lindblad as he's up by 0.08 of a second.
Continuing to close in as well, time upon time, sector upon sector. It's just getting faster and faster and faster. First lap time for Lindblad was a 38.1, 38.2 for Forlaroli as well, and 32. I'm amazed with this second time as well, where it's going. The mini sectors are flashing up purple, purple and purple. He's coming up to that time. He's going to beat his own time, 1:11.208. He's faster by 1/10 of a second. I mean, my goodness me, Lindblad's flying in this one.
Lindblad is flying, and also exactly answers my question. The tyres are still living with the drivers if your name is Lindblad. Not the case for Leo Fornaroli though. Further back as well, the driver in 6th, our most recent pole sitter when it comes to Formula 2. Lindblad, let's see whether he can keep it through. 27, rotate the car, try and go quicker and try to take it further away from the field. Let's see whether he does so.
Surely not. He is. He's going to box, and he just boxed it. I don't know why. Maybe the team told him, look, you're not going to have enough time. We know they can do 3 runs now, so we'll come in, refill you, change the tyres, and you go again. Forlaroli does box as well. That was daft from Lindblad there. He could have gone faster by another 1/10 of a second. Big lock up from June, though, and that's going to go wide at turn 23. So that's his lap time done. They can do it over those 3 laps, we wanted to know, but many other drivers struggling for grip now as they'll just give away. But the tyres mainly designed for racing.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's good data for the final run as well for the teams, that the tyres are lasting around this circuit compared to what we had a week ago, as we took a look at a replay of turn number 22 with Dunn running wide. So now everyone will come into the pit lane, they will go through the data and see where they can build upon the next run, and they don't have too much time to do so, considering they'll have to be back out in a couple of minutes time to be pushing on around this circuit once again. So going to be quite a lot of fun to see who's going to be able to take the pole position, but it was quite an exciting start when we got going in this session with all of the early laps. And as it stands, well, Dirksen in 10th position, looking at another reverse grid pole he'll be hoping for, but it's all still yet to change.
Yeah, and there's a lot that could happen, as well as every driver is now back in the pit lane. Let's check in with our pit reporters. Jess, starting with you, what are you making of this qualifying session so far? Lindblad on top with a 1:44.250.
Very nail-biting, isn't it? This is what we like to see in Formula 2. The drivers that you would expect to be up there, like Lindblad and Dunn and Martins, of course, was very good in free practice earlier, so not surprised to see him up there. But the track ramping up, it's very imperative that people get their laps in really, really, really good to make sure they start in the best possible position for both the sprint race and at the feature race. But yeah, Lindblad, he's definitely in a good position because he needs to prove himself in F2 if he wants to have a chance in an F1 seat anytime soon.
JT, what about you? What are you making of this qualifying so far? Might be away from a microphone there. That might be a bit unfair.
He might be rushing to get his microphone.
Alright, Omi, what about you? As the timer ticks down, the sun sets here in Saudi Arabia.
Yes, sun setting indeed. We're going to be getting ready to see some push laps here coming our way, hopefully very, very shortly as the sun continues to set. But yes, it's going to be a really, really exciting ending to this qualifying session. Cannot wait to see who's going to take the step forward and claim that pole position. But it's now time for an interview, and let's hear from Ben Huntington.
Level of preparation and work required for the cars doesn't change whether we're, whatever country we're in. And sometimes in somewhere like a street circuit, that workload can go up with crashes and things. So it's just important to make sure that everyone's hydrated and they got the drinks they need, and give them the chance to cool down.
And drivers are going to head out to the circuit now.
Yes, they will. And we're going to get Formula 2 cars back around this circuit. And it's great to see them all heading out there. Time for the same phase again of generating the temperature into the tyres that these drivers need. And then it will be all attack. It will be all push to see who's going to grab those 2 points. And the best view on Grand Prix Sunday in our feature race. Leo Fornaroli just waiting there as well for the rest of the field to go through. Then he'll head out onto the circuit. Maney right now sits in that dreaded 11th position, and he'll be looking to change that. He'll be looking to get back in there, the driver who started on pole 1 year ago around the Jeddah Corniche circuit once Oliver Behrman got his promotion to Formula 1. And let's see who's going to be able to take it though this time around for our feature and our sprint. And you also now see more and more drivers, including Joshua Dirksen, heading out onto that circuit for their outlaps. Leo Fornaroli right at the back of that train. Still a couple more drivers to come out with 10 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock to go.
Just been completely distracted by Rachel Brooks sending out a picture of the commentary box. View down there in the pit lane looks absolutely fantastic as to who can get there. And they're in booth 6 outside on the circuit. So I'm very jealous. 10 minutes to go of this session. Lindblad's on top. Then pick a pole then, Omi. Who's going to be on pole? Are you going to stick with Lindblad or someone else?
Well, I mean, I think the confidence does belong a lot with Victor Martins across qualifying this season. So I think I'm going to go with Victor Martins. Lindblad, though, it'll be great to see Lindblad be able to return to Formula 2 and basically be able to get his season properly up and going and be in contention. That would be really, really good to see.
Lindblad, Martins, Dune, Bashir, Stanek, Folleroli, Goethe, Browning, Cordial, Dirks in top 10. Maney, Marty, Megatunif, Crawford, Montoya, Boganovic, Mini, Bennett, Villagomez, Mieta, Esterson and Shields as well.
I'm going Martins for pole as well.
Is JT back? I'd love to know what his opinion is. No, he's not, he's busy.
He's going to be a busy man this weekend.
Yeah, he's at Ringwood tomorrow, then Brands Hatch on Sunday.
Yes.
He
He deserved it though, because he was producing all weekend last week.
was with me at Donington Park on Tuesday or so.
And that as well, yeah. So,
Amy, love to know how you found Brands Hatch and your GB3, GB4 testing. I saw you uploaded the combined live to JB2. How do you? That looked great coverage, by the way, mate. How was it?
Quite a lot of fun. It was great to be able to speak to people on and off air as well. A great paddock, a great atmosphere. I was basically standing next to him and started commentating on some football which was going on between British F4 drivers. So it was quite a lot of fun. It was quite a lot of fun.
Wait, there was football?
Well, they were playing it in the paddock during.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where are the interviews? Where are the interviews? Or are you still editing them at the moment?
They're all combined in the footage and videos right now.
I can't find the timestamps to them.
Oh yeah, sorry. You're on JB2, I believe.
Oh, right, okay.
So
I know you got Abby Pulling and someone else, didn't you? But you didn't have time to get Freddie Slater.
Yeah, that was quite unfortunate. Managed to get Harry Pulling though. But disappointed not to be able to get one of the stars of Formula 3 last time. And basically a driver who's destined for Formula 1. Kind of like we all knew Antonelli was going to get there. Yeah. Freddie Slater, pretty much we all know, is going to one day end up in Formula 1.
I'm so jealous that you got Abby Pulling. Oh my goodness.
well, we got Anthony Hamilton on and Nick.
You did, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got Anthony and Nick, didn't you?
Both of them.
Yeah, Lucy interviewed Nick as well.
Yeah, Lucy's interview.
Lucy's interviews are her interviews are on TikTok.
So Lindblad on top with a 1:44.250. Yeah, you can join Last Lap Lucy. She's got some interviews there, and she'll be with me and Tom at the track for the opening round of the season next weekend for the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship. We are underway though, with these lap times as we come into braking for turn 1, 2 and 3.
We are indeed. Mr. Luke Browning pushing on, and he was a driver who was really attacking in his first laps at Baku last year when he first sat in a Formula 2 car. He's had lots of experience of this machinery now with the few rounds that he had at the back end of last year. Also combined with the testing he's done this year along with the opening 2 rounds. Right now he's attacking through the first sector. This first sector, which it's not a Formula 1 car, meaning there's a lot more going on for these drivers. Not your usual flat out stuff. And now we make our way towards this 12-degree banked corner, and it's up by nearly 3.5 tenths of a second for Luke Browning, who's going to turn in through this. Turn number 13, turn number 14 will be coming up in a couple of moments time, then 15, 16, trying to keep it out of the wall. We had Villa Gomez here 1 year ago who found the wall around this part of the circuit in practice, and Luke Browning will be hoping that there's none of that when he gets on the power through turn number 18, heading down towards 19, 20 and 21. Doesn't want to connect with the inside wall of turn number 22, or that will be major for him, and that will definitely cause an interruption in this session. Mini's absolutely flying as we head down to turn number 22. Browning going very, very quickly still, and he'll be hoping to take it further away from the field. Turn number 27 is left to go. He'll have to take a wide berth through that part of the circuit, and then you'll have to point it in the right direction, bring it up through the gears and bring it to the checkered flag. Good, looks like a good lap for Luke Browning.
Mini's going to be first across the line as he comes into it as well, pushing hard. He's fastest first sector, 37.8. Second sector is a 32.8. He's top by over 4 tenths, a 143.842. Browning to the top as the red flags have come out, Omi. Someone's hit the wall and the red flag is out with 5 minutes to go on the clock. Haven't seen who it is there. Rear off, and is that Villa Gomez?
Well, that's going to be the Van Amersfoort into the barrier, and that will be a big moment in this session as we do find ourselves now.
Yeah, it's John Bennett who's hit the wall in the other one. I'm okay, but is that coming out of the banking, Obi? That 12 degree we were just on about?
It definitely could be. We'll try to identify which part of the circuit it is at, and that's a big moment for John Bennett, who was complaining earlier on, and now he's found the wall. And we talked about a Van Amersfoort crashing here 1 year ago, but we've got it in 2025 as well.
And importantly, that's great timing for Browning and Mini to go fastest on the board. Goetze and Boganovic also got their lap times in. They've gone 3 and 4, so it's a 1:43.737. It is at the exit. Oh, that's a biggie there, Omi. Go on, talk us through it.
Yeah, big moment, completely losing it, and that is not what the British driver, the runner-up in GB3 last year, wants as well, coming in. And let's hear from him on the radio.
17.
Yeah.
And the car is stopped. I'm okay. Are you good?
They've messed up the radio there by saying they've reorganised it the way it is. The car is not, but I am good. Yeah, so he's lost the rear at the exit, whacked the rear right, spun round, and if that happens to the race, I mean, then he could have cars right there. We could have been for. It's always a fear that part of the circuit. You carry so much speed as you come off the banking into the normal section of the circuit.
They've made it better as years have gone by, but when we first came here in 2021, it was a big issue, and I remember the feature race, which of course we had Enzo Fittipaldi and Teo Porcher stalling and that collision off the start. It was just a red flag day for Formula 2, and that's the worst they got. Then we had 2 cars spinning. Deleda was one of them in the middle of the road, and we had to red flag the race immediately just to make sure there wasn't any cars that collected. You never want to see cars spinning round when the drivers behind pushing on cannot see them. They're not in their visible spot, so it's really around the circuit one of the challenges when the drivers are attacking at such high speed.
Red flag is out then. Session suspended. We're going to head into the World Feed with Alex that was a mistake. With Chris McCarthy and Alex Brundle. I'm just simply wishing for Jakes to be back.
To him for MP Motorsport, Boganovic up there as well, so lots of new faces up at the top, lots of rookies, and that's a lap out of the tyres for some of those drivers who were on to set a lap, and now they have to go again and try and challenge the time of Luke Browning.
absolutely so. The track will improve, though, more than I think the tyre will fall away. So they're going to have an opportunity here. We saw in the first sequence of runs in qualifying, drivers able to deliver. And, of course, the second tyre in qualifying does its first lap with less fuel in the car, if you follow me, as the fuel burning away throughout the session. So you get less load through it, and so it then hangs on for a little longer. That's why we often see the lap being achieved on several runs at the end. They should have another opportunity here. Relatively quick clean-up, although there are not too many accesses to the circuit here in Jeddah, so it might take a few minutes. A bit of a buffer after this session as well. They're going to have an opportunity to get going for another one. It looks like Victor Martins making a bit of a change to the front wing there, just trying to rebalance the car, having had a first feel on this final set of tyres.
Let's just say this session far from over. John Bennett just getting out of the car, and that car will be retrieved to a safe place, and then the session will be resumed after that with 5 minutes and 11 seconds to go. This is when it's key, I guess, Alex, to have that banker lap in, as we hear from Luke Browning.
We saw the whole onboard, Luke, and generally I like the approach. Very good, very smooth. Thanks, please.
Yeah, so did we. It was very smooth, very composed through this final phase of qualifying. And then he actually looks like he's lost it a little later, doesn't he? Actually, under wide, Richard lap, and he is. He gets so close to making it to the line, and then of course has to get out of it because of the red flag. So no corners left for Richard Verschoor, who we're told was on a lap good enough to take him to the top spot provisionally, but the red flag put paid to that.
There we go. He was meters away from taking provisional pole position, and that's where the red flag came out. So Richard Verschoor definitely one to watch when we go green again. 8. Let's see what he can do when we go green again with to go. He did lead us across the line here in the sprint race last year. The drivers now just have to reset. This will change plans slightly, Alex, for the drivers. How will it be for them now in pit lane? If you're a driver a little bit further back, it will just add an extra element of pressure. I look towards Jack Crawford there in 16th, Pepe Marti in 14th. For them, they will have little chances to get themselves into that top 10.
Now, the bit as a driver, you go, has anybody brought my clear visor down to the pit lane? Because it's getting darker and darker out there. I know a lot of the drivers have gone out with these darker visors, fabulous iridescent visors they have now. There's a look at them, and the conditions getting a little bit darker as we move into the under the lights phase here in Jeddah. But yeah, you've just got to try and switch off for a second, figure out what it is you want to try and do, try and digest all of the information from that first run, and give yourself a feel for the balance. Maybe as we just saw ART and Victor Martins do, balance of the car as well, and then allow your brain to rest and then get focused in. As soon as you're out there on track, and pick up exactly where you left off and try and deliver the perfect lap.
It's the true test, isn't it? The last run in a qualifying session. The track's going to be very busy out there. We'll have 21 cars all trying to get themselves into those top 10 positions, all challenging the time that has now been set by Luke Browning, trying to take his first pole position in Formula 2 for high-tech TGR. Gabriele Mini will currently start alongside him. Here is Joshua Dirksen, just outside the top 10 so far, but doesn't need much of an improvement to get inside it. Just a tenth of a second will do. Looks like we're getting closer now to seeing this session resumed. The car of John Bennett is now being taken off the circuit, so it looks like we are getting a lot closer now to seeing green flag. Okay, whilst we are waiting for that green flag, we did see Richard Verschoor was very close to going to the top of the times. He is in the groove around here in qualifying, and that's exactly what we spoke to him about yesterday.
Really want to win the future race here. I think that would be amazing. We're looking for a strong qualifying. That's the most important thing. Yeah, most points, of course, are scored in the future race. We've done 2 sprint races, but only 1 future race now, and you can see that everybody that did well in the future race in Bahrain is right up there in the championship. So we're looking for a strong qualifying, and then try to gain as many positions as we can in the sprint.
Richard Verschoor has lots of experience racing around this circuit. This is his 4th time racing at Jeddah. We'll have to experience to his advantage. Has had a very good season overall so far, very consistent season. Alex, how impressed have you been with Richard Verschoor? Has been using that experience to his advantage so far.
Driver in his 5th season in this series, 5th in the championship as well, 21 points to his name at the moment, and he's very much in the hunt, knowing there and understanding just how important those feature races are, where all the points are given out. We've only had 1 this year, of course, with the cancellation of the feature race back in Melbourne, and that's been an effect. Alex Dunn winning that one, catapulting himself up towards the front of the championship order, and Verschoor knows exactly what's required, doesn't he, to get these cars up to the front of the races and on pole position. He's going to be working on just that. 8th position for him so far in the MP car, and he's seen a few scenarios, hasn't he, in a Formula 2 car, well armed to take on the end of this session.
Getting all set then, and now the atmosphere is building. Omi, what do you think? Who's going to have the advantage going into the braking zones?
Well, I think we're still going to see Victor Martins do incredibly well, but Verschoor, as was mentioned by the world feed, he was on for a great lap that would have taken him to the top. Other drivers also were about to do the exact same. So there's plenty of drivers who now will be looking to try and turn it all around, but it was great that Browning and Mini could get those lap times in when required. As we take a look at Dino Beganovic, part of the high-tech outfit, and of course a part of the Ferrari Academy as well. And it'll be interesting to see how he now gets on around this circuit. Let's see what he'll be able to manage.
Accidentally having the world feed on instead of your camera is an interesting idea. 3:28 to go. That red flag's going to stop the session a little bit much, so we're on a very quick off here from qualifying to start our coverage of... Actually, how long we got between the 2 sessions? We got more than an hour, didn't we?
Yeah, we've I think got a bit of a slot.
It starts at F1 starts at 5:45.
Thank you, Jess. Oh, okay. I just looked at the clock and saw the time. I thought,
So you got a nice break between F2 and F1.
I just hope they've gone for the chips. I had to eat, do you remember last year on Good Friday we had to eat in the commentary box for it?
Oh yeah, that means you can have your fish and chips like after this.
Yeah, fingers crossed with it being Good Friday. Still, Browning with a...
Should I order it some for you if you don't get it? Joking.
You can if you like. 143.
No thanks, I'm saving money at the moment. I already paid like 60 quid for all of us to go for a nice meal. I treated my mum and dad to a meal last night. But anyway, Minnie's out there on the circuit.
That's nice of you as well. What did you have? Was it nice while we just built up the laps?
I had fish and chips.
Obviously, yeah.
Oh, honestly, it was very delicious. When it was played out to me, it was a perfect portion. The fish was nice and golden, and the chips were lovely as well.
See, I've already had fish and chips once this week because after the test day at Donington, I went back to my sisters and my brother-in-law's, and they very kindly fed me before I got the train back.
Minnie's down, Josh. Minnie's down on his lap time.
Yeah, 2 tenths down, Omi, so in that first sector. So he's going to get another run in, but this will have to be a double push lap. So Is it worth maybe abandoning it, getting temperature in and going again?
Yeah, it might just be a little slight push in terms of not fully grabbing everything out of the tyre, but just making sure that he can warm it up quickly, because he doesn't have the time to do those slow warm laps. So he's having to push a little bit more to just get them up to temperature. Possibly that could be the case as well, but DRS is open as he will be looking to now get ready for the most important lap that there will be later on in this session, which he'll have to now push on in a couple of moments' time.
Pushing power straight away. Lindblad is up as well in that first sector with a personal best. He's fifth fastest as we open up the DRS a mini down towards turn 27, the last one on this circuit. The sun is setting, the track temperature is dropping, now 39.4. Up to the line then, he'll have a minute to go. We'll have to keep an eye out whether we'll push for a double. Montoya's got 9th, mini across the line. Doesn't improve at all. He's 3/10 down. What about Lindblad? Just behind him then. Timing screens glitching. TVs are glitching. Here he is to the last corner. It's a lot. It's 6 seconds from the exit, JT, to the line, so we might just have this one. Fuller 2 and Martins.
For sure goes to third position. Let's see what Mr. Lindblad can do as he comes across the line, goes to the front row, misses out by 6,000ths of a second.
Martins is 19 thousandths down as well. Checker flags coming out soon. Here comes Fuller across the line. Fastest by 66 thousandths. 143.671. Leonardo Fuller currently has P1. But here comes Victor Martins. Dune across the line and he just 4th. Flags out. Now we start counting with the checkers. Clan Shields, 22nd. He stays out. Up the line, Martins. Pole! 70 thousandths. 143.601. Cordial 12th. Miata 13th. Victor Martins provisional pole. Dune's got the fastest third sector, but we've got some 38s and 38.1s in that first run. I don't think that's going to be it. Crawford's got an interesting final middle sector. Was it 32.7, 37.8? Cross the line, Jack Crawford. Pole by 22 thousandths. It's a fraction only that's taking it round here, just like this morning.
Absolutely extraordinary. Jack Crawford from thin air, from 18th all the way up to the top to pole position. Incredible stuff.
Yellow, yellow, yellow. Someone's got white, so this could interrupt wherever it is on the circuit. Haven't seen it yet so far, but yellow flags are out.
Absolutely.
Down.
As we see Ollie Gerther now push on all the way through down towards turn number 27. Let's see whether he will be able to extract all the time that he needs. He's currently in 11th. That dreaded P11. Can he get into reverse grid territory for tomorrow? Can he get into the top 10?
Down in the middle sector, so it's Fuller so far. Checker flags out. Gerther stays 11th. Doesn't do it. Doesn't even get into reverse grid territory. He's going to have to fight that out so hard. In the race tomorrow, Fulleroni's backed out. Where is this yellow flag? Martin stays 2nd. Esterson goes 19th. And I don't think anybody else is improving. I can't see any sectors. Cordial and my Cordial, Shields, my 8 have all stopped. And why is the yellow flags out?
Yeah, well, I wonder if it's just to get them to the support paddock or something, or support pit lane. I'm unsure what's going on.
I can't see anything so far on our timing monitors, but that's confirmed as it. No one else setting a time. Jack Crawford has pole position here in Saudi Arabia from Victor Martins in 2nd, Fulleroni 3rd, Browning 4th, Lindblad in 5th place, Mini 8th. It really cost him only that last second.
Yep, absolutely. Gabriele Mini, well, we thought he was just building up. Well, it wasn't the case.
Yes, that's good position, mate. Good position. Well done. Yes. Oh my God. Good job, guys. Let's play. Massive job, man. Massive job. Well done. Well done. Yes.
Congratulations all round. Great job from Crawford. And Dams put it back on top. Well, this is going to be a surprise. They're going into race 1 tomorrow.
I don't think Crawford was expecting it.
No. Browning
Yeah,
goes 4th. Go on.
He's not had many pole positions. He got one, of course, in Zandvoort in 2023, but that was due to that was set in run 1, and then there was red flags after red flags after red flags, meaning it wasn't even pole position that he knew until the red flags kept coming out. So this is the first proper time that he's crossed the line, final run, and he's actually taken it fully on merit and able to get the lap time in at the end. And he's a really rapid, fast driver, so it's great to see for the man who has 2 victories. He'll be trying to make it 3 on Sunday, but Dunn continues to perform well, and his confidence is definitely running high after what happened 1 week ago, and it continues now, and he'll be looking to be in contention for both sprint and feature, a driver who we know who can be late on the brakes.
There's the yellow flags then in sector 1. I love how it tells you on the if you're at the track, but here in the box we don't get told where that is. So here's your results then in full as the sun begins to set here in Saudi Arabia. Jack Crawford on pole position with Victor Martin second. Leonardo Forlaroni goes into third. Let's have from Crawford.
And that is the greatest move I've ever done in my life. Oh my God.
Well, he's happy with that one.
Yeah.
He really is. Stunner. Literally a couple of thousand separating them.
Phenomenal.
It's going to be a close race.
Deserved for American Motorsport, and yes, it will be a close race. Looking forward to both the sprint tomorrow and then the feature race as well. And provisionally, it will be Roman Sanek who will start on pole for that sprint race, unless there is any investigations or penalties as well. Quickly, the reason why Montoya stopped in practice was due to he got his fuel was 0.8 by the end of it. That's why he had to stop on the circuit, and he got disqualified from practice as well, which doesn't really affect anything, but there you go.
New podium here this weekend, just to let you know, in Saudi. They've built that into the main grandstand area. Seems a bit pointless, but the Jeddah Corniche circuit apparently will actually maintain a usage after Formula 1 leaves it to go to that new venue when it is built in a few years' time. So this circuit will stay in operation for GTs and Formula E and so on and so on.
That's good because it's a nice circuit.
Flows very nicely. It is a street circuit, but many is a Grand Prix one as well. Here you go then, qualifying results. Jack Crawford on pole from Victor Martins and Leonardo Forlaroni complete the top 3. Lee Browning is 4th, Albin Inbound 5th, Alexander G in 6th, Jose Martin 7th, Gabriel Mini 8th, Richard Fisher 9th, Roman Stanek has the top 10. Ollie Goethe in 11th, from Kushmani 12th, Dino Ganovic 13th, Emil Gordillo 14th, Sammy Megatina 15th, Rita Miata 16th, Sebastian Montoya 17th, Joshua Durkin 18th. Then it's Max Esterson 19th, Rafael Villagomez 20th, John Bennett 21st, Panchio 22nd. Jess, your thoughts please on that session?
What a session. We did not know who was going to get pole to the very last second. We thought it was going to be Forlaroni. We thought it was going to be Victor Martins. But no, it was Jack Crawford that fought to the very end. Nobody expected it. This is going to be a close race. Sprint and beach race coming up this weekend. I can't wait to see how it's all going to play out this weekend. Who's going to come out on top? We'll have to wait and see.
Amy, what about you? Thoughts on that quali?
Brilliant qualifying, looking forward to the 2 races, and it's going to be definitely lots of action, and it will hopefully continue from what took place last week. Looking forward though to what happens in F1 Academy later on, and of course F1 practice before that.
Thanks guys, we'll see you in an hour's time when Formula 1 kicks off their second practice session. Jack Crawford has pole for the feature race on Sunday, and then it's Roman Stanek on pole for the sprint tomorrow. We'll see you then, take care, bye bye.